Good afternoon, A Gang, Pastor Jerry again on New Year's Day. And as I was leaving the store today, I thought about a conversation that my wife had with someone about, it was doing something questionable, and that person's response was, well, if I do this, it'll turn out a different way and it won't matter. So I'm trying to speak in code because I know a lot of people are on my Facebook page and YouTube channel and Instagram. So here's the deal. We don't do things because of the return. We do things because we have the character of Christ and that we're Jesus motivated. And so I would say that the phrase for this year, if you want to be all in, needs to be not what will I get out of it and not what it's worth to me, but is that the character of Christ? So if you have a question about anything that you're doing, a question about anything that you watch, that you speak, that you listen to, people that you are around that may cause you to fall, you ask yourself, is that the character of Christ? Because the character of Christ is exemplified throughout the Gospels and specifically in Galatians 5, and because that's the fruit of the Spirit. And if you ever have a question about, should I do something and how would this turn out long term, you want to ask yourself, is that the character of Christ? Because we don't do things as Christians for the return. We do things because of our nature. So think about that for the whole year as you go through the year, as you deal with people at work, in your home, deal with your kids, deal with your parents, deal with people who are saved, aren't saved, deal with people throughout the world as we move on and things happen with our government, with our politicians, at our schools, with our kids. Ask yourself, if I do this, how will that represent Christ? If I do this, is this the character of Christ? Before I do this, let me think about it. Is this the character of Christ? And if it's not the character of Christ, don't do it, because you won't be representing Christ and you'll be doing things out of the flesh. And then on top of that too, if you don't know the character of Christ, then you can't do things, because Romans 12:1 says that we renew our minds, and we renew our minds so that we can prove what is right and wrong. And so if you don't renew your mind, you can't prove what's right and wrong. You don't know what's right and wrong because you don't have the mind of Christ. And so this year, 2020, before you do anything, if something comes upon you and you got to ask that question and you go, I could do this, but how would that represent Christ? And is that the nature and character of Christ? And then you'll really, really know how to do things. And if you don't know his character, go to his book. Read the Gospels, read Galatians, read Ephesians, read Philippians, 1st and 2nd Corinthians. Read all those, and specifically the Gospels, because that's him talking. And then you will figure out the character of Christ. All right? So ask yourself this year, is that the character of Christ? See ya.